Hello Facebook ads people, I'm Konstantinos and this is the Facebook ads breaking news podcast.
Hello guys, this is podcast 117. One remark about the podcasts. I can see that you really liked my membership thing that I have introduced, and I get it. It's value for money. Basically, you're getting how many videos do we have now? 56 videos as a bonus just by giving 20 per month. I used to have it also for the Patreon, for the other platforms like the Google Podcast and all of that, and the Apple Podcast. Yeah, thank you very much for the support and enjoy all the extra 56 videos. One remark before we go into our main topics is that my new course is out, and you can go and you can check it. It's a very good course. We have already reviews on Trustpilot from people completing it, and everybody's loving it, making it the best meta ads course in the world. I hope that you're going to take the decision to go and see. There's a free version if you're still hesitant and you want to go there and check the free version to see if it's a good fit for you. We don't have a very big podcast today because apparently all of you're doing vacation. This is good news and bad news. The bad news is that I don't have a lot of interaction with you right now and not a lot of comments. The good news is that means that the bad news is also that I'm having less leads coming to me to work on the ad accounts. The good news that we are having is that because you're not interacting with the platform, trying to do Facebook ads and all of that, we're having much better results. And I can see it on my ad accounts. And this is what proves that most likely, if not a lot of people are on the platform, then we're having better results. Now, what we're going to discuss today. First of all, we're going to discuss about some things that I have found about A/B testing and conversion lift tests. And we're going to also discuss a little bit about one thing that I have found in one newsletter that really intrigued my interest. And then we have your questions, and I guess that's it for today. But before we do all of that, we have a topic for today, which is the new UI and how the new UI is going to help us a lot with all of these new pixels. Now, let's go a little bit back. Let's go to the point that we were talking about the ASC campaigns, and all meta reps and everybody was saying that you should run ASC campaigns. And what I have seen from the start is that from new ad accounts, that they have a new pixel and all of that, running an ASC campaign as a broad, maybe it's not going to work. It was working immediately maybe in some smaller countries like Switzerland, for example, where broad was also a very small, like 3, 4, 5 million. So initially we had a problem with new pixels in the way of training them in the most cost efficient way until we're able to run our ASC campaigns with broad targeting. Now we don't have the ASC campaigns, and we have a new UI that it has this button of limit further targeting, for example, and this is like the old button that we have in the original audience when we were doing the manual campaigns. Before the new UI, we have the manual and the ASC and the manual, and for the manual we had defined further for the audiences, which we used to call original audience, that it wasn't having a broad expansion with Advantage Plus expansion to the full potential reach of broad targeting audience. The thing that is changing right now is that in the new UI, and I believe that the reason that they have done this is because they have realized that the new pixels are not having really good flexibility on training their pixels in the most cost efficient way, and they had to do other things like normal campaigns. Now that we have one unified campaign, they had to fix this, because if we couldn't do interest and all of that in the new unified advantage sales campaign, then we were going to have a problem for all the new pixels. But in the way that they did it, they gave us better control for the new pixels, and this is what I'm going to analyze today on how this is going to benefit all of these new pixels. The thing is that with the new control that we are having these check boxes that we used to have in the past of expand button, I used to call it expand audience button further. This is a very good setting because right now it's going to appear in some places. So for example, we're having the country that if you go, for example, and you have USA and you're going to add only Texas, it's going to appear as a checkbox if you want to expand further. Expand further means that it's going to expand to the full potential reach of USA. We have the age, and we have the gender, and then we have the interest and lookalikes and custom audiences places. So first of all, in the age, if you put, for example, instead of 1825, 1925, it's going to give you a checkbox if it's going to expand to the full. What is the full? The 1965, not 25, sorry, 65. If you do the gender and you put only men, then the checkbox is going to appear and it's going to let you expand if you want to men or women to the full potential and all of that. Why is this good? Because you can expand in places that you want, and in places that you don't want, you are not going to expand. With the Advantage Plus, what is happening, Advantage Plus audience, what is happening is that it's expanding to the full reach. Now, one change that it's major is that we are not having controls. So where is expanding to? Without a control, it's expanding everywhere. Or because of the fact that we are having different check boxes, we can control all of the expansion. Back in the day that we didn't have the checkboxes individually for age, gender, and country, it was going to expand to the full potential reach of some controls. We're having some controls on the top that it was, for example, up to 25 for gambling purposes. They were putting that, so you couldn't touch the ages. They were having the country that you could touch. You could do, for example, only a specific state and not expand to the full USA. The gender is something that you cannot touch. You could also touch and put excluded audiences. For example, if you want to exclude past customers, it wasn't going to expand it to that. Now, with the new UA, you don't have a control, because back in the day, when we were having, for example, an interest and we were expanding with the checkbox, the old one that we used to have below the interest before they make it Advantage Plus audience and expand to the full broad. I hope that all of the things that I'm saying are making sense, but for people that they have been here for a long period of time, they do. Before that, when we had this check button, it was expanding to the full potential reach of the audience that you picked above. For example, if you had an audience, let's say, of 1865, only women picked, then it was going to expand to this full potential with women only. So it was starting with the interest as an initial concept and as a suggestion, as they said, and it was expanding to the full. But the full wasn't the full United States, it was the demographics that you said above. Now, the full is going to be the controls. Since we don't have controls above our targeting, it's going to be the things that we're going to set here, and this is what we're discussing, that we're having better control. So the full is going to be USA. If we put Texas without the checkbox, it's going to be only Texas. If we put the gender of 19 to 65, it's going to be 90 to 65, and it's not going to expand to 18 years old also. If we're going to put the men also without expansion, it's not going to expand also to women. Very big change. For example, I remember makeup companies having very big problem initially with Advantage Plus audience expanding also to men, while they wanted to target only women, especially with a pixel which is untrained, that it cannot do this job on its own. So the big question here is this. Is this going to help new pixels? In my opinion, 100%. It's going to make it better and easier for pixels, because we're going to expand to places that we want and not expand in places that we don't want. Should we expand? In my opinion, yes. For example, the age is something that I would strongly look to expand. The way that it's working is that it's starting from an initial age suggestion and then it expands to the full. For example, I can put 30, 65 plus, and then it's going to expand also to the ages below 30 up to 18. So these are important steps that we're having over here. The button is saying here, use as a suggestion will also reach beyond your age settings when it's likely to improve performance. This is how it's going to appear, and it has different messages for gender and other things. As I said, and I made a video recently about the blender method. The blender method is going to be revitalized again, because the whole concept of the blender method is that you're using an interest with lookalike, which is really strict and laser focused targeting, and then it's expanding to the full potential reach. The blender method was working with this button. You were having together lookalike with interest, and then you were checking the box to expand to the full potential reach. So I believe that right now putting interest with lookalikes over here and expanding only to the places that you want, it's going to make the blender method again really strong. We're focusing a lot on that on the course with a whiteboard video explaining it. The other thing that I need to say is that you're having better control, especially training a pixel expanding but not expanding in places that you don't want to, which is perfect because we're having better control. The last thing that I need to say is that at least I realized that it's not only about the trained pixels, but it's also about the new pixels and how they're going to be trained in the most cost-efficient way. And I think that this new UI structure is helping a lot the new pixels to get trained, especially when they're most vulnerable, which is the beginning of their journey. Now, that's with the new UI. I think it's going to be something that is going to help many brands to kickstart and have better control. And of course, for problematic ad accounts, these checkboxes and stuff, along with so these checkboxes being used, having things being used as a suggestion initially and then expanding to bigger audiences, I think that's going to help accounts a lot. And I think that we're going to see again the blender method being used. Now, recently, one of my friends, Jonathan, has done a test, which was a conversion lift, and he was explaining to me the situation about conversion lift and A/B test, the differences. It's a very geek subject. If you are not into it, you can just skip and watch something else from this podcast. But when you're having an A/B test, basically I'm putting a stupid sketch over here. You're having one box which is the control and another box which is your test. So you want to test, for example, if you exclude past customers, for example, in control you're not going to exclude it, in the other you're going to exclude it, and you're going to see the difference and if you have any better results. When you're doing though a conversion lift, what you're going to do is that you're going to do a campaign where you are excluding and a campaign that you are not excluding, but you're going to have these two boxes, and inside there, Meta is going to create two control audiences. Why? Because it has to create two control audiences for this test over there in order for it to see what is the conversion lift, the incremental, in other words. How many people bought and what was the impact of this test to the incremental? How many people bought that they were not going to buy without the ads? So the thing that I didn't know, and it was interesting to me, is this thing over here, that when we have a conversion lift, inside our audiences, we have Meta creating two smaller boxes basically, which is the control audience. And this control audience, it means that instead of, it's dropping it inside as a control check thing, in between. Then between this thing, it's measuring the conversion lift, which is the incremental, and how many more sales we actually had. The biggest bummer on this situation, which I disagree completely, is that it measures the incremental between these two campaigns, and it doesn't measure the incremental based on other campaigns. So this ad so what is the incremental? The people that they have seen and that they haven't seen the ads, but they bought anyway. So the new clients. So if someone, basically we're trying to see if someone is not going to see our ads, if they're going to buy. So the difference when you're running this type of conversion lift is that in one, people are going to see the ad, in the other, they're not going to see the ad. So if they still buy on the other side, we're going to see the ones that they have seen it how many more they bought. So this is the incremental, the people that they haven't been influenced by any ad. The problem is that this is covering two campaigns. It's not covering all the other campaigns of the ad account, which means that maybe, yes, some people, they haven't seen the ads from these two, but maybe they have seen some other ads from our ad account, which for me, it's up. Because it means that basically we cannot have proper results about the incremental if we're not measuring. For me, it's either, have they seen any of your ads? Yes or no. It's not, no, they haven't seen just this campaign. They should not see any of your ads. If they should not see any of your ads and then they buy, this is the incremental, okay? And this is what I would like to actually measure. I have no doubt that the A/B test and the conversion lift are things that are not proving anything within the Meta platform, because whenever you do them, even on the score, you will see that you don't have enough score and all of that. To be honest with you, I'm just using it with Meta so that I can get funding in several cases for several things. But I think that the whole thing is rigged over there. Long story short, personal story. When I scaled one brand with multiple campaigns, and I had a case study, and it was featured in Dublin about how I managed to scale a company from 20k to spending 800k maintaining the same ROAS. Basically, they made the whole case study in the way that they wanted to present things. For example, they never talked about the fact that I didn't do consolidation, but they said, look how this company scaled using ASC campaigns, for example. Yes, I scaled using ASC campaigns, but the whole point that it was that I was using different structure, different angles, and I wasn't consolidating in just one campaign. So even the case studies that you see that they have, either they are coming from 500 Fortune companies that they're going to, for example, one Meta rep was telling me that in Victoria's Secret they ran only one campaign. I believe it. Another said that Coca-Cola runs awareness ads. If I was advertising Coca-Cola, I was going to also run awareness ads because it's a well-known brand and it needs more awareness. But I wouldn't run awareness ads in a company that nobody knows. Like another account is spending 100k, it's not a known brand to run awareness ads. So all of these things and the test that you see, maybe it's 500 Fortune companies that almost everything is going to work, or they're going to present the thing that they want to present. And I'm telling you this from my personal experience with this specific brand, that I had the case study, I knew exactly what I did, and they were just pushing the fact that it was done with ASC campaigns and how good are the ASC campaigns. So that's all. Be careful with these tests. As I said, I'm using them only in order to take more funding and nothing more. Okay, guys, have a nice weekend on the beach and everything. I hope that you are relaxing, and I will see you on the next one.
This is the end of the first part of the Facebook Ads Breaking News podcast. If you don't want to miss the second half of the podcast, where I'm answering all the remaining questions of the week, visit my Patreon page following the link on the description. This was the Facebook Ads Breaking News podcast. Like it or not, it is what it is.